Like when Matt Hardy first went to like AEW, like it was like, okay, that's good for him. He gets to work. But when that thing happened, like that accident happened to him, like very early on,
It was
and
a
then
series of accidents.
What?
It was a series of accidents because right before the match where he hit the head on the concrete was the chair that got thrown right into his face.
Yeah.
So like you're talking at least 2 concussions in quick succession.
True. But like, really, like the fall off the
Yeah, that was
like that should have been like, right now, stop,
Yeah.
medic, out you go.
That's where it's evident they didn't have anything in place at all, and they were just like, shit, what do we do?
Yeah. But not only that, they just pissed all over like their referee in the process as well,
Absolutely, yeah.
who is actively trying to wave it off and get them out of here because their safety is the biggest deal. But they're being told, no, we're continuing on. It's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, under no circumstances should it ever be left up to the actual wrestler because they will always say, "I'm good to continue."
Absolutely. You have to take
And they're
the
not.
away from them. Yeah. That's just the way it is. Instead, just to be an addendum to that the thing I mentioned there about women's ACLs for the Women's World Cup coming up this year, there's actually 12 players missing from ACL injuries.
Jesus.
So ACL and knee-related injuries, there's 12. If I was extending more to actual, like, say, knee surgeries, 15.
So that's like more than a full team.
A full team would be missing, yeah. And remarkably enough, 5 of them are from the same club.
Oi.
To the extent where they are nicknamed the ACL Club.
Well, yeah.
So that's the saying. Like that's why there's studies going on now about like what's causing all that sort of stuff. So like WWE would be smart to jump onto that and see and share their notes because you know it's a detriment. And typically with an ACL break, especially in women's sport, it's been observed that once you tear your ACL once, you typically do it 2 more times. And that's why, like, Nixon Newell has done it twice, and Dakota Kai has now done it twice as well. So it's now a substantial risk to their careers long term, especially in wrestling. It seems now more than football. So
because like Nixon, like she did one, and then in fact when she came back, she did the other one.
Yeah, that's very common.
She was overcompensating, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah.
Because in the recovery process, you have to.
Yeah.
Because obviously you can't put your weight on the leg that's injured, so therefore, like, all that pressure is gone on one leg. So when it comes time to actually get active again, it's not prepared for that sudden jolt.
Yeah. I actually know someone who has torn their ACL, and again, she's involved in certain sports that requires the knees quite a lot. And the simple reality is that, like, when you can technically be back playing sport in like 9 to 12 months, the actual recovery time for an ACL is 15 to 18 months. It's a year and a half before that knee is actually back to normal. And I think even for wrestling, because like again, Foxy, you'd be probably better placed to know than I would, but you need your knees are probably the most used joint in wrestling because you're moving so much.
Yeah.
At least in other sports you're static enough, but you're bending and flexing so much that needs to be perfect.
Yeah.
So you'd probably actually say probably within 2 years you actually have that you're back 100%, you know? If you ever are back 100%.
And that's providing that you actually like, so say example, like you wait the actual recovery time, you pass all your your physio, like, and you come back say 12 months in.
Yeah.
But for the next few months, you have to basically take it as easy as possible in order to not either re-aggravate it or cause another injury.
Yeah.
So, but the unfortunate thing with wrestling is that like outside, out of mind, and especially for someone who is gaining popularity and trying to move up the card, that's almost like a death sentence, really.
Yeah.
Like to actually take that extra time to wait. So, you can understand why so many people get injured. But, yeah.
And much to your point, as we were talking, as I kind of jumped into that as well. Like it's up to the companies then to actually have a system in place for that, because if it can happen to ACLs, it can happen to other parts of the body as well. So like the concussion checks need to be done, neck issues as well. You know, a lot of these are accumulative injuries, and if you as a company are not doing your bits, then you're kind of are liable, and you should be liable. But then this is where wrestling kind of go, we're a carnival. We don't have any fucking structure in place. You know, there's
independent contractors.
Yeah.
Independent contractors. Yay.
Just to avoid the liability.
Which is crazy because, like, in wrestling, it shouldn't be controversial to say that wrestlers are your kind of biggest resource.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly. And then you treat them like shit when it suits you.
What are you talking about, King? I think this is
Yep. A lot of gaslighting going on.
The whole industry of gaslighting, to be fair.
And if anyone mentions a union, that's that.
There you go. That's it. You are the worst in the world.
And the problem is, like, it desperately does need a union. But the problem is, it won't happen because the industry is not. It's so wild west that it just won't happen.
Yeah.
Like, it benefits too many people for it not to be regulated, which is a shame. Because, especially when you think about people that are over in the States, like, there's no health insurance, like, so therefore, like, when they get hurt, they have to pay for it out of pocket.
Yeah.
And like, because like I wondered that when I was a bit younger, is like, why the fuck, like, these people have been in WWE, surely they have the money, like, or surely like they have insurance or something. It's like, no, can't get insurance if you're a wrestler. It's like, fuck that.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing with why I know Ted DiBiase did it. I know Rick Rude, even though he did it. There was a couple there in the 90s that never took bumps again, even though they could have, purely because they've managed to get the insurance payout from Lloyd's of London.
Yeah.
Whereas, and if they ever took a bump again, they'd have to pay it back.
Yes.
That was Mr. Perfect as well.
Yeah.
He managed to get it for at least 3 years before they collared him, and then he just said, "No, I'm retired." Like, just so he could keep it. And then a couple of years later, he came back in 2002, did a short stint, and then went right back on it. Like, so there was always ways to get around it, but they weren't outwardly like sacrificing that bit of money.
That's actually a fucking big wrestling what if, is the plane ride from hell got Mr. Perfect fired, with Kurt Hennig, but who he was really, really close to before he got fired was the just debuted Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Both from Minnesota.
If only we had a series on the channel that could flesh out these ideas and possibly make something out of it.
Watch this space. But yeah.
Oh, aren't we just such a tease?
You'll be back.
Oh, you'll be back. Just you see. Please. No.
To remind
Keenan Snitsky.
Yes. Remember I was saying a couple of weeks ago that, like, Cade and Murdoch thought they pulled a blinder getting rid of us and RVD from their radar. Like, pretty much either within like either last month or the month beforehand, they got buried by Kane and Snitsky.
Hey, what's up? It's Tori. Listen, I don't know if you've seen the latest issue of Raw Magazine,
It's like,
but it's a pretty cool story.
I wonder what the
I hope you
fucking
realize how lucky you
tag
are
team
to be
name
able
for
to
them
talk with
is.
someone like Chris Masters. And maybe if you pay attention, you'll learn a thing or two from
Ugly
him.
bastards, I would have said.
I know I have.
I do like
Anyway, Chris wants the
the
tag team titles, and he needs
the
you
irony
to keep
of the fact
arguing
that they
the
both
bargain,
need a
so
good
try to
dentist.
measure up.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Where's Isaac when you need him, damn it?
I also like to think because they're teaming around this time, then that awful angle between Lita, the baby, that probably doesn't happen in this.
Given the level of class shown in this mode so far, I presume it still happens, and then Kane just high-fived him and said, "Thank you."
Yeah.
You saved me from that one, pal.
No more child benefit.
Hey, Masters.
In fairness, like for the two proverbial like freaks and monsters of the roster, if that's what they bond over, that's actually it's like sickeningly on brand.
Yeah, isn't it great? The cover of Raw magazine. Yeah, real
But
great.
there's Tori Wilson has gone from trying to seduce Teddy Long to just following around Chris Masters.
Seriously?
Even more so following around Candice Michelle, who like also in a couple of months ago was like fighting the good fight to get her tits out, essentially. That was our build up to WrestleMania.
Yep. Hey lads, how do we build Kurt Angle and Shelton Benjamin? I know!
Norks.
Good luck out there, big guy.
That must be like the Vince McMahon Hannibal Lecter moments. Like, okay, don't tell him. We're gonna have an absolutely fantastic technical wrestling match between Shelton and Kurt, right? Let's just take him out of storage. We'll just take the first sentence he says, and we'll just work it into the angle. Okay, here he comes. I want tits, right? Grant. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. Okay. Put the muzzle back on him. Yep. Don't let him see the girls. Yep. Okay, we're good. And now in our latest trend of taking on people that are substantially bigger than us, that's got to be Kane. Call me crazy, guys, but I don't think this team of Masters and Shelton Benjamin is going to work out if Masters just has this sort of narcissistic quality to them.
Doesn't seem bound for greatness.
No.
On the other hand, just judging from that last loading screen, Bobby Lashley has aged wonderfully.
Hasn't he just?
Like, fair play.
Yeah. And honestly, I enjoy his work.
Yeah. And so is Shelton, to be fair.
Yeah.
Man's pushing 50, like.
And again, it's this the joy of doing a series like this, where you can perhaps make the argument that Shelton didn't get the run in WWE he should have got. Granted, like he still is statistically one of the best like intercontinental champions in history, but like, but considering the crop he came from and with Orton, Lesnar, Batista, Cena, you could argue he deserved more. And solely because he's a little bit shorter. That's just a lame excuse.
Lynch was just a little bit darker.
Yeah.
Because to be fair, Shelton was no worse on the mic than Batista.
Not at all,
or
no.
Brock. Like,
How did you compare the two between like Kane and Stitsky? Who's the good looking ones? Like, I don't know, one looks like bollock and one looks like scrotum. You tell me, Jerry Lawler.
It's like, who'd they remind you of? Oh yeah, Jerry Lawler's bald sack. Old and wrinkly.
Oh, I doesn't look familiar.
It's like, you haven't seen them? It's like, I don't need to. Like, I'm a bit too old for that.
Yeah. We've grown out of it.
Chris. Which is fitting that Chris is there because Kane has been the biggest disappointment of a wrestler since him. It's like his real life has just ruined the character for him.
Isn't it so, like we've said this before, but there is something just really amusing about like saying like Kane was always perceived to be the smartest of the professional wrestlers.
Yeah.
And now look at him now.
Yeah.
What does that say about the rest of you fucking idiots?
can I, King? And I know these fans can't either. So let's get
Although in
started.
fairness, I am fully convinced like he doesn't even believe half the shit he is. He's another just right-wing grifter.
Yep.
He knows it works. He's getting the votes, and he's just willing to say whatever dumb shit he needs to do.
He's working that political kayfabe, baby.
That's exactly, yeah. I do genuinely believe he's working. You know, don't get me wrong. I still think he is like a far-right arsehole, but he knows what to say in order to get what he wants.
Does seem about right.
And again, the guy who has made a career by wearing a mask. Oh, ask him to stop the spread of COVID. Oh,
So fundamentally against it.
yeah.
Coming out saying Russia's doing nothing wrong. Classy chap.
I don't remember you saying that when you were feuding with Vladimir Kozlov, Kane.
What happened to the Cade that came out to stop the American flag from being burned?
Please, I hope he uses that. Like when he's on the floor of Congress, he just uses that clip of him feuding with the un-Americans, and he comes back and returns and saves America from Pest and Landstorm. Look, the argument's breaking down, but point notwithstanding, flag.
Representative Glenn Jacobs takes the floor. His motion to invade Canada.
Okay, President Jacobs, I'm impressed with some of your plans so far, but this executive decision of yours to exonerate Katie Vick, it's not going to be a popular one, Mr. President, but are you sure you want to go around with it?
It says here as a charge you were burned by your brother. Your brother has sociopathic tendencies and believes he is a zombie.
Oi.
But it's okay because he also thinks blue lives matter.
That's true.
Some fucking strength on Sheldon.
He's a strong boy.
Did you miss the part where he was German suplexing Viscera?
Oh yeah. But still, like to do it to the outside.
Like I said, like as we often see, like the powerhouses are not necessarily height based. I mean, Chad Gable, famous example. Like a lot of his is like purely like he can suplex any fucking weight because he's got his technique pinned down. Like.
You of all people should be able to appreciate that, kid.
There's someone that has
Exactly.
like utilized fully. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, again, once he blows up, like he needs to now. Like that's the difference. It is that kind of like, why aren't you using these pure wrestlers while you have them? You know. But geez, like a Gable run in New Japan would be fucking tremendous, wouldn't it? Just let the man wrestle, or even if he does let go and he goes to this new like bespoke Ring of Honor, that's something even in its own right. But again, like it's if they wanted to buy pure wrestlers, that's where you want to get in, you know?
Yeah. If they could have gotten them in the actual Ring of Honor,
yeah,
then
very true, yeah.
But this one,
No, that's to say they need that's where they need the degrees of freedom to make it feel like a different show.
and also let's be fair, he 100% should have been Kurt's kid.
Oh God, yeah.
That actually could have become something.
Yes.
Talk about ruthless aggression. Look at the way these superstars
But no, they had high hopes for Jordan.
They're not playing with kid
Yeah.
gloves.
In fairness,
Apparently, he's a wonderful agent.
yeah. I think they still got a job out of it. To be fair.
Well, to be fair, like he got like multiple concussions, like so they kind of needed to.
He got hurt
Long
though.
books.
Yeah.
Like,
Same with
we're
Tyson.
sorry we caused you this, so here's a job.
Please don't sue us.
Chuck Benjamin has yet to land that German suplex, by the way. Everyone lands on their feet.
He actually vaults them too high. He just auto like extra rotation straight away. In fairness, we're holding our own quite well here against Kane.
Wrestling hell tonight. They've already got a pretty good start on that, JR. They have indeed, King. I don't think there's an ounce of quit between them.
Yeah, and that's where things get dangerous. If you're too proud to admit that it's not your night,
That's more like
you
it.
might wind up risking
Yeah,
your
like
career
he's getting
for a
the
single
snap
match.
German suplex, but not the big one.
No one makes it up the ladder without pushing themselves to the very limit.
A T-bone.
Nice.
T-bone suplex. My God, what speed! What power!
How do you kick out of that? He really is a monster.
When I look at what Shelton Benjamin has become, it turns
We have no more alternatives, folks. We must set Kane on fire.
There's no room for error when you're on the top rope.
In fact, he's contractually obligated to be set on fire at least once a year.
It just reminds him of home.
He has been set on fire an alarming amount of times.
That's, I want to say 3 times?
Yeah.
3, 4, I think.
Yeah.
And they've threatened it a lot more than that.
Great.
Hey, we did it.
Sometimes really arbitrarily. Like in his first blood match with Stone Cold in '98. It's like, if I don't win, I'll set myself on fire. So he wins and then loses it back the next night. Gotta love the bait and switch.
Yeah, so like 2 Inferno matches. 3 Inferno matches.
Yeah, 3. Because there was the 2 with Taker and then there was the one with Triple H on SmackDown.
Yes. Then that moment you talked about there, where he threatened it. And then the feud he had with Shane, where Shane kicked him into a massive bin that was on fire. And he was just fine the next night. Completely unscathed.
Came back with a car battery.
Yep. That's what he found in the bin, actually. Yeah, it's just like, wow, it's a good thing this wasn't set on fire, else I really would be dead.
Just spontaneously combusted in the sand.
Yeah. In fairness, he does have magic powers. You think actually he'd use that more in his political career, wouldn't you?
He's like the guy from that Skittles ad, where everything he touches turns to Skittles. Is it cool when you can't hold your baby in your hand? Oof.
Oh, man.
Right.